A Princeton study gave participants a simple cognitive test. Before the test, one group was asked to think about a minor financial problem. The other was asked to think about a serious one. The group thinking about the serious financial problem scored significantly lower, not because they were less intelligent, because financial stress consumes cognitive bandwidth the same way running too many apps drains a battery. When you are broke, thinking clearly about money becomes neurologically harder, which means every piece of advice that starts with just budget better is asking you to solve a problem using the exact resource the problem is destroying. This is not a budgeting video. This is about building an emergency fund in 60 days using the psychology of scarcity against itself, and it starts with understanding why you haven't done it yet. The real reason you don't have one: you already know you need an emergency fund. You've known for a while. Knowing has not been the problem. Here's what actually is. When money is tight, the brain enters what behavioral economists call a scarcity mindset. It becomes intensely focused on immediate problems, this week's rent, this month's bill, and loses almost all capacity for abstract future planning. Saving for an emergency that hasn't happened yet feels impossible when there's a concrete problem happening right now. So you defer reasonably, logically. You tell yourself you'll start when things are slightly less tight, but slightly less tight never arrives on its own. And every month without an emergency fund is a month where one car repair, one medical bill, one unexpected anything puts you into debt that makes the scarcity worse. The fund isn't just savings. It's the thing that stops one bad week from becoming 6 bad months. That's why it comes before everything else. Before investing, before paying extra on debt, before any of it, 60 days. That's the target. Here's how. Redefine the goal. The reason most people never start is the number. You've read that you need 3 to 6 months of expenses. You did that math. You saw $8,000 or $12,000 or some figure that felt so far away it didn't feel like a goal. It felt like a joke. So nothing happened. Here's what actually works. Your first emergency fund target is $1,000. Not 3 months, not 6 months. $1,000. Research from the Urban Institute found that families with as little as $250 to $750 in liquid savings were significantly less likely to be evicted, miss bill payments, or receive public assistance after a financial shock than families with no savings at all. $1,000 doesn't solve everything. But it breaks the cycle where one unexpected expense becomes borrowed money. That becomes interest, that becomes the reason you can never get ahead. $1,000 in 60 days. That's $500 a month. That's $125 a week. The number is smaller now. Keep going. Find the money you think you don't have. This is the part where most scripts tell you to cancel Netflix. You already know about Netflix. That's not the problem. The problem is you're looking for one big source of money that doesn't exist instead of several small ones that do this once. Sit down for 45 minutes and go through the last 2 months of transactions. Not to judge yourself, to audit. You're looking for 3 things specifically. Subscriptions you forgot about. The average person has 2.4 subscriptions they don't actively use but haven't canceled. That's not accusatory. It's structural. Companies design cancellation to be inconvenient on purpose. Find them. Cancel today. The convenience premium. Every time you bought something at the nearest place, instead of the slightly less convenient place, you paid a convenience tax, food delivery fees, corner store prices, vending machines. These feel like small decisions. Across 2 months, they're usually $80 to $150. You didn't notice leaving recurring purchases with cheaper alternatives, not eliminating things, replacing them. The $6 coffee twice a day has a $2 version that you don't have to pretend you enjoy. The difference over 60 days is real money. You are not looking to suffer. You are looking to fund 60 days of a specific goal using money that is currently leaving without your full awareness. Most people find $150 to $300 a month this way without changing anything that actually matters to them. That alone gets you more than halfway there. Create one income event. Cutting a loan will not get you to $1,000 in 60 days if you're genuinely stretched. You need one income event, not a second job, not a side hustle that takes 6 months to build. One event. Look around your physical space right now. There is almost certainly $100 to $400 sitting in things you own and no longer use, clothes you haven't worn in a year, electronics in a drawer, furniture you're keeping for no reason, equipment from a hobby you stopped doing, Facebook, Marketplace, eBay, a local selling group, one afternoon of photographing and listing things you don't need funds, a significant portion of your emergency goal. If you have a skill, any skill, one weekend of offering it locally or on a platform like TaskRabbit or Fiverr closes the gap further. This isn't about building an income stream. It's about finding a one-time injection of cash for a specific 60-day objective. One event. Then it's done. Make it invisible. Here is the most important structural decision you will make. Open a separate savings account. Not a different tab in your existing bank. A different account. Ideally at a different bank entirely with no debit card attached. Set up an automatic transfer for every payday. Even if it's $40. Even if it's $25. Psychologists call this pre-commitment, removing future decision-making from the equation entirely. When the money moves automatically before you see it, your brain recalibrates what's available to spend. You don't resist the temptation to spend it. The temptation never forms. This is the same mechanism that makes lifestyle inflation dangerous, working in your favor. Your brain cannot inflate around money it has never seen. Name the account something specific, not savings, something like emergency, do not touch, or a specific dollar figure you're chasing. Research on goal labeling shows that people are significantly less likely to raid accounts with specific purpose names. The label creates a psychological cost to withdrawal that a generic savings account doesn't have. The money needs to feel protected by something other than your willpower, because willpower is the first thing scarcity depletes. The 60-day behavior every 2 weeks, do one 20-minute check-in. Not a full budget audit, just 3 numbers. What came in? What went to the fund, what the fund balance is now. That's it. This matters because of a concept called progress momentum. Studies on goal pursuit consistently show that seeing measurable progress, even small progress, increases the likelihood of continuing the behavior. The act of watching the number grow, even slowly, rewires the emotional experience of saving from deprivation to accumulation. You stop feeling like you're losing something. You start feeling like you're building something. That shift is not small. It is the difference between stopping at week 3 and finishing at week 8. When the fund hits $500, acknowledge it. Not with a purchase, just acknowledge it. Tell someone, write it down, let it feel like what it is, the halfway point of something that is actually working. What happens after 60 days, you will have $1,000 that is not for anything. It just sits there. And that is the most financially powerful thing you have ever done. Not because of the amount, but because of what it breaks. It breaks the cycle where one unexpected expense becomes debt. It breaks the scarcity loop where your brain is too stressed about immediate problems to think about anything else. It buys you cognitive space, actual neurological breathing room. The Princeton researchers found something else in their study. When financial pressure was relieved, even partially, cognitive test scores returned to normal almost immediately. $1,000 is not financial freedom, but it is the first condition under which your brain can actually think clearly about money. Everything else, the investing, the debt payoff, the longer-term planning, all of it gets built on this. 60 days, not when things get easier. Starting with whatever is in your account right now.